Hi and welcome back to my channel. Yesterday I posted a video, a pre-recorded segment to basically outline how the class was supposed to go today. The class started at 2 p.m. and went through to about 3:45 p.m. We ordered pizza and we did some delegating, discussing about what we were going to go over with the class. And sorry about the noises. So we got interrupted by what I would like to call maybe a family feud. Could be argued that it was an attack on our family, and there may be some underlying issues there that we don't know about. But this is why I started the class, is because sometimes life throws you lemons and you gotta make fireweed out of it. And unfortunately, a lot of these comments that are being made online are blowing up to be more than just comments. So I'm glad that, in a way, that this has brought us to the table where we are presented with some fusion, some confusion, some disoriented perspectives. And we really need to discuss these uncomfortable moments when we're interrupted with people's rude behavior, lewd comments, unwelcome gestures. Sometimes we have to nip them in the bud. And for about 24 hours that did happen. Unfortunately, this specific incident has been called to justice. And in terms of reconciliation, the only way that can happen is if there is an apology made. And the comments that have been made online need to be deleted, because it isn't anybody else's business except for the people that are involved. And each party should have an opportunity to speak on either end. So it would be really nice to get some of these attendees in here. We could add people to the list for the attendance. We would like to see more people in the class. We could even change the time and the date to suit people's needs, because I do know that a lot of people are out of town and they're not able to get transportation into town as easily as it is made readily available here in Yellowknife. So, we did have some discussion about expanding the class into another day, or we can have an additional class that would take place in the town of Detta, and we would call that Detta Reconciliation Road. So that's been put on the table. I will add them to the minutes. I'm recording everything on the computer, so everything that is happening that affects this class and the people that are in it, that are attending in it, we all are trying to attain the same goals. Like I said last night in the pre-recording of the video, I would update you guys on what happened in the class, and these are the things that are happening. So if you are involved in the threads, I appreciate your patience. I'm not commenting anymore on anything, but I am monitoring those comments and the threads that are being created, because there are 4 segments that we'll be referring to when it comes to the reconciliation piece of making the quality of life better for both parties. That's all I'm going to say about that for now. We did not get to the application process. At the moment, the application is not filled out, so we will have to continue that into the weekend and through next week, so that we can come together next Friday and fill out the rest of the paperwork, because the deadline is coming up for that application process to apply for funding in regards to September 30th, the National Day for Reconciliation and Truth. So in that case, I am going to quickly just wrap up this class for now. I'm going to say some additional notes from previous classes, just so that I can keep everybody in the same boat. I would like to update you on everything that we have discussed up to this point. realized that I didn't have a poster on the door outside the building, so that people know that the class is in session. So I'll be posting the poster next week on the front door so that people know what room and what time we are attending. So I just wanted to mention a few things. Let's see here. So this class will be made into a podcast. I'm just trying to get some things sorted out with what I'm going to need in order to fulfill that goal. So, Reconciliation Road, the ongoing impact. In the 1870s, the last school closed for residential school in 1996. That's been reported. That's what the information that I could find online at this current moment. Intergenerational trauma caused loss and separation. And it requires for us to take action towards healing. It is a journey, not a destination. Organizational strategies, commercial basis. That's what we're developing at this current moment. Fiscal Management Act. Viewing all those acts, the Canadian policy. What is in those policies and the advocacy that's necessary to attain them. ESG standards, institutional investors, impactful business decisions that affect the community, Indigenous voices, how are they heard, who can we contact to begin our podcast. We'd like to start it today, but access to capital is short. Members and co-developers that impact the territory. These are all subjects that we talked about on our first class. Okay. All right. Moving on. So yeah, second class we pretty much went over the first strategic plan. What kind of steps that we can take to move forward to getting funding. We talked about corporations. We talked about how people can obtain applications, how much it's going to cost, waiving fees, all that stuff. We talked about people's dignity. We talked about treatment of our elders, about language, about the culture. How do we integrate that into our classroom? We've got several things such as music, musical instruments, different forms of prayer, and also visuals. So, got lots to share here. Also, the current crisis in homelessness, the Yellowknife area is really being affected by homelessness. Tent platforms are being set up. Parking lots are being filled up with tents, and people that have gone without work for long periods of time, who have lost support or unable to obtain support because of documentation and whatnot. So we would like to look into all of those things again. But these are things that we've talked about already in the past. Creation of the first platform on the land opposite the city's Niven neighborhood last month. At that time, Frankie said the platform was a part of a broader plan to establish an encampment for people evicted with nowhere else to go. And this is a quote directly right from one of the websites that we were visiting on Cabin Radio. We would ask for prayer requests for these people that we would like to see them in homes and getting the things they need to reach out to resources. It is a crisis of homelessness. And myself, I've been on the waiting list with my daughter for 4 years now, and with no avail. And my grandfather also is experiencing homelessness in Dilo, and my grandmother is being harassed in Deda by basically drunk people. So it's very discouraging sometimes, but we're still going to move forward, and we do have to really, like I said, praying is going to be a big piece in this, where people are going to have to be faced with forgiveness, with forbearance, providing each other with sustenance. It's very important. Empathy, showing empathy to each other, and making report and speaking up when things go wrong. In a healthy way, of course. It's not okay to berate people online. Everybody should have a chance to say their side of the story. So that's all I'm going to say about that. So in class number 4, we talked about eliminating commercial rights in the food service, protective actions in Section 35 of the Constitution, fishing rights, specifically in regards to ceremony, limited, moderate livelihoods, the stigma, the colonization, or if you want to call it colonialism, inherent rights, not Indian. So, off reserve, people are often not, they're not identified as Indian or Aboriginal or Indigenous in the Act, because they're off reserve. So if you come off your reserve and you try to make applications to places, they're often denied because they don't qualify for these programs that the government that offers, because they are off reserve. So this is concerning. What is our path and vision? Hereditary participation. It's really important. Chief Council's intermediate constitution. What government is doing to be acceptable. What is acceptable in the eyes of the government? What is acceptable to the Indian, Aboriginals, Indigenous forms of governments, organizations, supports, band and community, the Métis. I talked about making application. You can actually have 2 status cards. Do people know about this? Applications and operations. Non-Indigenous allies, acknowledgements. Northern United Place has been a big piece in the community here in Yellowknife specifically. I'm not sure about other organizations yet, but I'm learning about all of that stuff, and it is very apparent to me, what is beyond the rhetoric and the form timeline? What is the timeline? What is the marginalized area, of this space to make room for more art and music and people, participating in community relationships, events, groups, creating forms, making forms better, helping people communicate properly, learning the language, teaching the language to our kids and to our elders so that they can share it with other people, with their grandkids. Because it is true that we borrow this land from our children. In Reconciliation wrote on June 21st of 2024, we talked about hot topics. We talked about Bannock. We talked about celebrating Indigenous Day. This is a really important day for us. We had fish fry. My mom had the honor of helping make hundreds of bannocks for people here in the community park at Saint Bacay. It was really fun for her. Teepee making. My uncle helped my grandmother and Dada. They filmed it. They made a big, made a documentary about this teepee going up in Dada, because the one that Madeline Bolio had at the day home for the elderly, they took it down and they didn't know why, so they put another one up and they tore that one down too because of the drunkards. I don't know what happened, but we would like to look into that concerning event and wonder why are these things keep happening. Why will they not let us put a teepee up in Dada, in our hometown? My grandmother just lost her only brother that lived in Hay River too. He was very loved and deared here in Hay River and Yellowknife. And the harassment that she's receiving there is really not okay. So more teepee making, more fish frying, more bannocks. Grandma is always making bannock for the community, making jam. sharing everything that she has with the community and taking care of other people's kids and dogs all at the same time. And she deserves a big thank you. Thank you, Grandma Bolio. Thank you, Nanny Bolio, for doing what you do in the community. Thank you, Mom Leo Weber. Thank you for what you do in the community. Thank you, aunties and uncles, for what you do in the community. Thank you, Umas and Ampas, and Goompas and Gampas. So we also talked about our jewelry, our beading, our feather art, and our hide drums. The videos that we have on the land. We have websites. We have pictures, documentation, videos of all of these things being created, including even boats, sleds, cabins, greenhouses, gardens. We've created all these things and we've put them on the land, and a lot of people have stolen stuff from us, but we keep giving back. And this is what reconciliation is all about. We will keep continuing to work our traditional knowledge into what we do, and creating experiences for other people to take part in it. So we also talked about our creating stickers, tattoos, banners, magnets. We've made all these things. We sell them in local bars and local restaurants and local craft shops. We even sell them at the craft tables. We've been at the farmers market, and we will be here at the YKDFN November 9th and December 7th selling all of these things. We're making business cards, making baskets. We have cookum skills, preservatives. We're always making stuff that lasts a long time, and we will continue to document all of these things and keep posting them and sharing our culture and our skills, our traditional knowledge with the land, with the people of the land and the visitors that come here in Yellowknife and Detta, Delo, and Hay River. So also, again, I wanted to thank Dan George again. Awesome. He's inspired me to start this class. And I keep doing it because I know that through his perseverance, through his determination, and through his goal setting, he was able to attain his podcast. And that's my goal too, is to obtain the podcast so that my family can have a voice finally and speak out, towards a better future. So I want to thank also Dr. Bonnie Henry and Dr. Daniel Ben Smith. Creating equality and building trustworthiness. We're in need of leaders to mobilize these initiatives. Public health concerns. I had a really difficult time with my daughter in and out of the hospital with infections and things like that, and for myself. And my mom had to advocate for me to get public health because my applications kept getting thrown out in the garbage and disappear or missing, and they never made it to the places that they needed to go. But with my mom's help, she was able to get in touch with all these departments and find out why my application wasn't going in. And, she was the first one that got my healthcare number. It's really amazing that it took my mother to be able to get access to my healthcare. And I was unable to attain it on my own because people discriminated against me. This is actually a thing. Health and wellness is very important, and I believe that equal access is attainable, and through truth and reconciliation we can make it so that these things are done and we attain our goals in a respectful manner by eliminating the barriers. We're providing resources, privileging the knowledge, presidenting, collaborating. The Delo Wellness and Tree of Peace, I thank them also for helping us remove some of these barriers. I have requested from Delo Wellness to attend with me to make application to YWCA for my daughter and I to have housing. And after many failed attempts, we didn't get the application finished, but we are in process, and I thank them for the work that they do with us on that. Resilience used to work together in collaboration with privilege of the knowledge presidented. So the legal framework, stewardship, speaking about or knowing what you need to do, how to obtain your goals through the processes. What are the roots? We have land freedom. We uphold that land freedom We take accountability for our actions, and we demand the rights be upheld. Creating a space with our Dene culture, with our Dene language, we make systematic change. We make an anchor of nourishment, strong identity, and belonging with our ancestry. And these systematics are nature and nurture mainstream, healthy, and finance. We're going to remove the racism, the stigma, and move forward to a better quality of life. Dene mind, Dene soul, and Dene body. Amen. Thank you for listening to me. If you do like this channel or anything that has resonated with you, can you please, please, please subscribe, share, and like my video, and I will be sure to join you in the comments below. Thanks again for joining my channel.